Coming up, a collision of historical fiction and fantasy set in 1930s Vienna.
Behind the voices of NPR.
Plus, our distraction of the week. I'm Mel.
I'm Dave. This is the Library of Lost Time.
You know how sometimes you want a sandwich that's just like a really great baguette, butter, and salami?
Yes.
But then other times you want an over-the-top combo of maybe a slab of fried chicken with some kind of spicy sauce and too much mayo and lots of pickles, and it's served on bread that might as well be cake.
Yes to both of those things.
Yeah. You want a flavor explosion.
Sure.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about books. Sometimes I want a straight-up murder mystery or a Victorian classic or a family saga, a story that stays in its lane.
Yeah.
But then other times I crave a book that smashes genres together. Something like The Kingdoms by Natasha Pulley. That's a love story with time travel and history and a mystery. Or Prague Spring by Simon Mauer. That's a literary character study hiding inside a road trip story that tilts into a spy novel. If I could drop everything and read a book from cover to cover today, my pick would be the new novel, The Expert of Subtle Revisions by Kirsten Menger Anderson. It combines pre-World War II history, literary fiction, time travel, and a mystery, all told across two timelines, one in 2016 California and the other in the intellectual cafe culture of 1933 Vienna.
That's a lot of book.
It is a lot of book. Here's the setup. In 2016, a young woman waits for her father's boat to arrive at the port in Half Moon Bay, California. Although they set the time and date, he never shows up. He told her that this might happen and gave her instructions for what to do. She's to go to the public library in Berkeley, find a particular book by an Austrian mathematician, turn to page 71, and follow the instructions.
Wow.
I mean, that is pretty much all I need to know.
Yeah.
But there's more.
Okay.
Because in this book, there's always more. Our heroine ekes out a living doing odd jobs, including editing Wikipedia entries. She doesn't do big rewrites, but she powerfully changes the meaning of the words. So, for example, editing killed to murdered, or changing riot to protest. She knows that words matter. Her dad did too. She says, like me, he enjoyed the site because he could be invisible and visible, an outsider and a participant simultaneously, a contradiction realized. All of that is happening in the modern timeline.
Yeah.
The World War II thread delves into the Engelhardt Circle, a group of intellectuals fighting against the rise of fascism. There's also a music box that might be a time machine. The author was inspired to write this book by her grandfather's memoir. He was a mathematician and a member of the Vienna Circle, a group of philosophers and scientists who met at the University of Vienna in the 1920s and 30s. This sounds to me like the kind of book you can really fall into, and I'm into it.
Yeah.
The LA Times said the 1933 chapters feel eerily contemporary, and Publishers Weekly called it an appealing intellectual mystery. I can't wait to take a big bite. It's The Expert of Subtle Revisions by Kirsten Menger Anderson, and it's out now.
I have a lot of respect for the people at NPR, National Public Radio. Since its founding in 1970, NPR has gone from a small, scrappy broadcasting group into one of the most trusted and influential media organizations in the United States. I have fond memories of just sitting in a car, idling the engine, because I wanted to hear how an NPR story ended.
Yeah.
I suspect a bunch of us are like that. From the start, NPR offered news that was deeper and richer and more thoughtful and better produced than anything else that was happening in radio at the time. And they never slowed down. They developed a storytelling style built around empathy and curiosity and insight. They trusted their audience, which, oh my goodness. That resulted in iconic shows like Morning Edition, All Things Considered, and This American Life. Voices like Bob Edwards and Susan Stamberg and Terry Gross and Ira Glass and Cokie Roberts all became friends and They have all shaped NPR's sort of thoughtful and approachable identity. And they could have stopped there, but they did not. The powers at NPR were brave enough in the early days of podcasting to give us groundbreaking shows like Planet Money and Invisibilia and Serial. For me, at least, NPR has consistently set the bar for audio production, storytelling, and presentation for the last 50 years. There is a new book out that takes us behind the scenes there. It's called On Air, The Triumph and Tumult of NPR, and it's by Steve Oney. Oney is a longtime journalist. He worked for many years as a staff writer for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution magazine and then for Los Angeles magazine. He has been working on this book for the last 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah. On Air starts you from the early days of cassette tapes and smoky editing rooms, and it will take you through fights with the White House, NPR's reaction to 9/11, the controversial firing of Juan Williams, and the sloppy dismissal of Bob Edwards, all the way up to almost now, as NPR tries to navigate a deeply divided America and has yet another existential crisis. If you're curious about a great American experiment in storytelling and journalism, or if you just want to know a little bit more about the voices that come out of the box, I suspect you will enjoy this. It just came out this month. It's On Air, The Triumph and Tumult of NPR, and it's by Steve Oney.
And now, our distraction of the week.
If you're listening to this on release day, tonight is the first night of the Skellig Coast Dark Sky Festival. Now, that might sound like a jumble of words that don't quite fit together, but we're going to go somewhere delightful, and I'm going to walk you into it. Our journey starts in Ireland, specifically along the southwest coast in County Kerry. That's the Skellig Coast part of that. There you are going to find dramatic cliffs dropping into the Atlantic Ocean. You'll see green rolling hills stretching out to the horizon and villages with colorful cottages tucked into the landscape. Just offshore there, they've got a 6th century monastery perched on a steep rocky island.
Skellig Michael, right?
Yeah.
That island is fantastical looking.
Yes.
We used a photo of it for one of our blog posts when we did our Ireland episode. Every time I look at it, I just kind of feel like it can't be real.
Yeah. You can visit there and you can marvel at what life must have been like hundreds of years ago. And then there's the wildlife. You might see a red deer or an Irish hare or maybe a puffin. They have puffins there. The whole area, the Skellig Coast, is remote enough that it has a sense of timelessness. It feels ancient and alive. If you were there and you ran into a troll, your first thought might be, excuse me for intruding on your home. And not, there's a troll over there. And there's something else that makes the Skellig Coast special. It's a dark sky area. That's an official designation made by Dark Sky International. Sounds like a villains group. It's not. It's a nonprofit dedicated to protecting natural nightscapes. It means that there in this corner of the world, there is very little artificial light. And that means that at night, on a clear night, you can see, like really see the stars and the planets and the Milky Way. You can see the sky that our ancestors looked up at. I have never been to a dark sky area. People who have been have said that it's beautiful and humbling and awe-inspiring. And there are dark sky spots all over the world. There's a Big Bend National Park in Texas, Snowdonia Park in Wales, Jasper Park in Canada. But the one in Ireland is the Kerry Dark Sky Reserve, and that is where the festival is happening. Tonight, and for the next 2 nights, the Skellig Coast Dark Sky Festival celebrates the wonders of the night sky and why it's worth protecting. If you are there, you can meet astrophysicists and astronomers. You can hear their excitement and expertise. You can look through their giant telescopes at planets and galaxies light years away. You could try your hand at astrophotography. Because it's Ireland, you could enjoy the music and art and storytelling and a little bit of Irish folklore, not to mention all of those fabulous accents. This year's theme is Under One Sky. It's all about how, no matter where we are in the world, the sky brings all of us together. Now, if you're not near the Skellig coast and you're still intrigued by the Dark Sky Festival idea, you have options. At the end of April, there's a Star Festival in Texas, close to Marfa. In June, there's the Grand Canyon Star Party.
What a great name.
Yeah. England's Exmoor Dark Skies Festival happens in October. There's a Star Festival in Okinawa in August and another in Thailand. And of course, you could always plan ahead and be at next year's Skellig Coast Dark Sky Festival.
Visit strongsenseofplace.com/library for more on the books we talked about today and details about how you can attend a Dark Sky Festival.
Thanks for joining us in the Library of Lost Time. Remember to visit your local library and your independent bookstore to lose some time yourself.
Stay curious. We'll talk to you soon.